Hey, happy Hump Day Wednesday. It's Tuan. I'm going live again every Wednesday. I started to have this ritual where I'm going live with one of my soul brothers, Lionel Williams. And I'm trying to figure out how to go live from my public page versus my private page, which is, I think, a little different. So, let me see. He says he's here. I'm add you now. And let me see if I can add you here. And here we go. I'm adding Lionel live. What's up?
Can you hear me? Hey,
Yeah,
can you hear me
hi, how are
okay?
you?
Good.
Good.
I
Where are you at?
I am in Chicago, actually, in the airport lounge, waiting for a flight back to Atlanta. So I
Okay, so you were in Texas.
was in Texas. I left there this morning. I had to come here for a few hours today, and now I'm getting ready to go home. Oh my God, I can't wait to tell you about last night. But go ahead. What's
Yes,
up?
yes, I know. Hi. So I was watching you last night through your Instagram live. Thank you so much for sharing. You're at an awesome fundraiser, Minnie's
Yes.
Food Pantry. I was like I was like doing the money dance. I was so excited.
Oh
People
my
getting
gosh,
fed.
she raised so much money. It was
Over $1 million,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Oprah
over a
was
million
there
dollars.
speaking.
And even after that, even afterwards, she got some more big donations later that evening and
Yeah.
into today. There was one big donor who didn't like want to do it all publicly, who also donated. It's a phenomenal organization. And her food pantry, you just would never think that some of the people that you just never know who's hungry. You
Yeah.
wouldn't think you might have an image of someone who's like asking for food or something like that.
Yeah.
Like that you may see on the street or something, but sometimes they're working in the cubicle next to you.
Yes.
Um, I mean, it was just amazing. And she has at the pantry they actually have a red carpet because she says when people come in they walk with their heads down, and so when they see a
Oh.
red carpet they look up and they're greeted with love. It's just
Oh.
so. I mean, the whole
Oh.
thing is so beautiful,
Oh.
and it's just like it's just done. You maintain your dignity, and it's no judgment. It's just completely out of love because she was in that space once, and she was saying how they treated her, like a number, and they handed her a bag with stuff that she couldn't actually even eat.
Mm.
So she said, when she got over that hump, and she said she was going to give back and serve, and that's how she started. And it's named after her late mom, who I did get to meet before she passed away a few years ago. But it was just phenomenal. And she had been asking Oprah for 8 years, and
Yeah.
every time Oprah said no, 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 no. And so finally, she said, "Yeah." And I told Cheryl, like a couple of years ago, she kept saying, "I really want to get her." I said, "Just you've been doing the work, you've been planting the
Mm-hmm.
seeds, you've been following the steps. It's gonna happen. I believe it's
Yeah.
gonna happen. Do you believe it's gonna happen, girl? I'm gonna
Yeah.
need you to believe it's gonna
Yeah.
happen." And sure enough, so it did,
Wait,
and
so
it was just.
back up for a minute so people that are watching that may not know what you're talking about. So Cheryl is your friend who runs Minnie's Food Pantry.
Yeah, Cheryl Action Jackson. So she runs a food pantry in Plano, Texas, called
Mm-hmm.
Minnie's Food Pantry, and every year she has an annual gala fundraiser, and
Named after her mom, who
named
just
after her
recently
mom,
passed away.
who just recently passed. And so this year it was the 10th anniversary. So as a result, she really wanted to do it big. And I don't think she could have gotten any bigger than this. But she did have Oprah come in. It was just, in my job, because I run her social media for the event, so I'll do it for the whole
Mm.
weekend.
Yeah,
But
I
I
saw
would
you. I saw the one where Oprah was like, "Hey, Lynell, what you doing?"
Okay, right. Oh, and I have another one. You have that I will share, where I was escorting her out to the
No, I saw
to the
that. You
red
did
car.
post that.
No, but there's a video to that.
Oh, there's a
So you'll,
video. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, you
So
were
I'm gonna.
escorting Oprah. I was like, "Oh, hey, Oprah."
So it was just such a magnificent event, and it's so funny because their work really now just begins. Because now
Yeah.
they got to follow up on those pledges and those donations, and it's
Yeah.
just still got to run the pantry. They have to be open to serve
Yeah.
today.
Yeah.
So it's just the work
Continue.
always
Yeah.
continues. But
Yeah.
it was just such a phenomenal event, and the lesson was just give at the level that you can give for
Mm-hmm.
whatever's in your heart,
Yeah.
and and you know, Oprah kept saying it will be returned to you. She's like a zillion fold.
Yeah. You know, the funny thing about that is that it is so true. You know, when you give, you get so much more back, 2 million bajillion fold. I mean, and the spiritual value of it and the karma. I mean, you there's no value. There's no man-made, woman-made value you can put on it because
At all.
there's two stories we did through. I left TV news to start because I was sick and tired of news using me, and I started this Go Inspire Go thing where I highlight everyday heroes like Cheryl and to inspire the hero in you to help. And my main goal is to let you know that you have the power, no matter how small you think it is, that you have the power to make a difference in somebody's life, right? Using your platform, whatever it is. It doesn't have to be a show. It doesn't have to be like a TV reporter or a host of a show like I did, or what anybody else is doing. It just has to be authentic to you.
Right.
And I learned that here I'm highlighting all these heroes, but I failed to look at that hero in me, that little boy in me who had the courage to step out and follow my heart, even though everybody's like, "Oh, you're gonna make money off of that," or "Why are you even doing that? You're crazy." But I met so many people. Like, there's two stories about feeding the hungry really quickly I wanted to tell you about. One was Jorge Munoz, who's a school bus driver by day, but at night he's known as the Angel in Queens, New York.
Hmm.
And every night for more than 12 years now, every single night he uses half of his school bus salary. I think he makes like 700 a week to cook, buy groceries, cook, and drive his little Toyota truck out to the subway stop in Jackson Heights in Queens, and gives
Queens.
150 meals away every single night. Yeah,
Every night.
every single
Wow.
night at 9:30, like clockwork. And so, anyway, that meeting people like that, I sat in the room and I said, I have interviewed so many people like with big names, famous, rich people, whatever. And I'm sitting here like my breath was taken away, and like I was crying and sobbing, and I was like, you are such a hero because every single day you just doing the work, And
Right.
the people that came, he served a lot of immigrant communities because he was an immigrant. But so many people that came to the food pantries that came to him were people that looked, single moms, dressed professionally, at cubicles, and you just never know anybody's story. So when I
Right.
was there last night, like the I felt like I got the money, and it wasn't the money, but it was the energy in the
The
room. What
energy.
was the
Exactly.
energy like?
Oh my goodness, it was so electric. First of all, it's really surreal. Like when I was escorting her to the carpet, we were first in a corridor before we hit the carpet. But even there, where there weren't that many people, the local police and et cetera, the security that were there, you could kind of feel this energy building.
Yeah,
And as soon as we rounded that corner to the carpet, it just went like freaking nuts.
yeah,
And but the energy was just it was otherworldly. And she's just like that, and she's so patient. And just I don't know that I don't know that I could be that patient all the time. But it's just she really makes each individual feel like they're the only person in the room, and
that's a
there's like
gift.
780 people in the room. But the ones that she interacted with, she made sure that she knew that they knew that they were being
Yeah,
acknowledged by her.
yeah, yeah.
It was
You
beautiful. It
know
was
what
beautiful.
really, you know what really touched me was when the people came up and announced the name and how much they were giving. Yeah, sure, it was great. People gave 250,000, 10,000 for 10 years. But what really like touched me were the stories of people that volunteer for her, or the people that like were hungry, and
Right.
like that dude that gave her like $5,000. I was just like, ah, I was just like, oh my goodness, stop it.
Not a dry eye in the house. And I don't know, did
No.
the one guy who revealed that he recently discovered he was HIV positive,
Yeah, yeah, I
and
saw that.
and she said, "What you fed me hope," and it was like, oh my goodness, the whole room went like
I know.
nuts.
I know. I saw that.
It was, I mean, it was the whole. It was just, yeah, it was such a powerful moment. And it wasn't even supposed to go like that. They were supposed to do like a silent auction, which we never got to. But when Oprah got done with her keynote, something must have gone off in her head, and she was like, "Let me raise this girl some money." And and it was her idea to invite
Okay.
people up on the stage.
Okay.
She said, "We need to make some." She started it off by saying, "I'm donating." 'Cause she had already donated. She donated 100,000.
250,000.
and then another 250,
Yeah.
right?
And she was like,
And
all I
so,
want is 250. That's a
right. And she was saying, I just want to, and I'm going to start off, I'm going to donate another 250, and I just want you to match that. And then she said, I want to see who it is and who you are. And then that's when people started lining up, and the line just kept going and going and going. And so finally, she cut it off, finally.
yeah.
But it was after they had raised well beyond the goal. It was so freaking amazing.
I
So
know.
amazing.
I
So,
mean, I can even imagine. Like this morning when you woke up, I saw it on Instagram this morning. Like I'm still crying from us talking here, but the sunrise photo the beautiful sunrise photo you sent from I think it was your hotel room,
from the
and I
hotel
was
room.
just like, oh my god, to recover from a night that's so electrifying. Like, how do you? I mean, you must have been doing that 21-day meditation.
I did get it. It's so funny because I shared a room with my friend Rich Cruz, who is
Hi, Rich.
he's a
I know. I love
photographer.
Rich. Yeah,
So
I
Rich was
see his
doing all the
stuff
time.
all the time on social.
So I didn't go to bed till like 3, probably. I got back to the room like 3, and Rich was already knocked out. Now, how about Earl? He said he was going to set his alarm for 7 so he could get up. And I set mine for 9. So
Mm.
his alarm, of course, goes off at 7, wakes me up. Now I'm looking out, so I just looked at the sunset and tried to do meditation. He rolls over and goes back to sleep until 9. And I was like, you have your own bed. We need a sound barrier between these beds so that when your alarm goes off, you have to get up. I should be tortured by that. But it was good. It was good.
Oh, that's awesome. So, what did Cheryl say when you had a private moment with her?
Oh my God, it was so much because we were having moments all the time. During the and so she doesn't miss it. She doesn't miss a detail in that room.
Yeah.
And so since I was with her pretty much all night, we would have pretty quiet private moments all the time. In fact, yesterday when they set the room, I said, we need to go. I asked her to show me the room, and then I asked her to stand up on the stage. I said, I just need you to be still, Cheryl. I just need you to be still and take this in. You were running, running, moving, moving, moving.
Yeah.
Just breathe this in. And she did. And she was like, and I think it kind of hit her like, wow. Because her mom was so special. I met her mom a couple of times, and just such a wonderful lady. And the last trip, I might hope I don't cry, but the last trip she spent, her mom wanted to spend some private time with her. They went hiking to this resort outside of San Jose, California, where my mom lived. And that was at the same time that Oprah was doing her Life You Want tour. And
Hmm.
so Cheryl's mom wanted to spend, Cheryl had a front row seat to the Oprah thing. And her mom, was going to go and then didn't want to go. Her mom said, I just want to kind of stay, maybe spend some time with you and just walk around or whatever. So they spent some quiet time out there. So she actually ended up giving me the ticket so that I could take my mom. And then that particular uh, time that they were together at the resort was the last time that they got to spend together before her
Oh,
mom suddenly passed
oh,
away. So it's like she blessed her mom, she blessed my mom. I mean, it was just so, it was, you know what I'm saying? It's just so powerful when you are aware of what's happening and the synergy of how
yeah,
all
yeah,
this love is connected.
yeah. I
And
was
she
just
was
gonna
just,
say it's like a full circle, like looping back and back, right?
yeah, it
I
was.
know.
It is. So us to for us to have this type of connection and friendship has just been such a blessing for me. And she motivates me and she pushes me. So whenever she calls, you just can't. Nobody says no to her. Hello,
Yeah.
Oprah tried it 8 times.
I know. She's a woman with some willpower.
Yeah, she really is. And it's just you just stand there. You're just like, oh my God, Cheryl, what? They're giving you what? They're giving her cars. I mean, yeah, it's just amazing. But the thing is, she's true to the work, and
Yeah.
she
She's
sticks
doing the
to it,
work.
and
Yeah.
she's relentless with it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
How did you meet Cheryl? You and Cheryl meet?
That's a funny story. But we initially met. Oprah was doing. We met at one of her life class tapings in Houston.
Okay.
And I always tell her, I say, well, some Oprah plans can be extreme. Some of them are just downright unstable.
Yeah.
So I was I was walking out of it was in between the two tapings, and I was walking out to go to lunch.
Yeah.
And so I cut back around through it looked like I guess like I was maybe going backstage, but I wasn't at that time. And I just hear somebody say, "Oh, yeah, where are you going?" She knew who I was. And I said, I'm going to lunch. And in my mind, I'm going, who is this crazy woman? And so later, I get to lunch and I got a text and then from Maya Watson who said Oprah wants to see you backstage. So then I get up to go back there. But when but Cheryl at that time had left the building and she had actually gone out by the the stage door, and she saw over there later. So I didn't see her when I went backstage. And then afterwards that night, we started talking, and I realized, oh, she's actually pretty cool. She's actually really, really cool.
We're all
And
a little
it just
crazy.
started from there. Yeah,
Yeah, we're all a
yeah,
little
yeah.
crazy to some
So
extent.
I always let her have it about that. But that's my girl. I mean, and whenever she called, whatever I can do for her, she knows
Oh,
that I've got her back. So
oh.
I'm just so proud of what she's accomplished. So it was just amazing. But hey, and you guys, anybody can donate to Minnie's Food Pantry, whatever your giving level is. They
Yeah.
really do the work. They don't just do the food. They teach skills. They have a whole computer center in there where they're doing training. And actually, somebody you heard it last night. Somebody was going to give one of the realtor companies is going to give. I think it was $30,000 in down payments for people to, do their first homes to get off, people that may be off the street, need to get off the street.
Wow.
I mean, it's so comprehensive what they do. It's not just, it's called
Yeah.
a food pantry, but it's
Yeah.
so much more.
Yeah. That's so amazing. And it's Minnie's Food, MINNIE,
Yes,
minniesfoodpantry.org. Okay.
yes, with an S, yes,
Okay.
correct.
Okay.
And they're on all over social media too,
Yeah.
Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. So
I know you're
yeah,
working that social media, boy. Yesterday, I was
baby.
like, damn. Like on Insta, I watched the whole thing through you. Yeah. And then there's a point where she was like, Lionel, can you make sure people don't trip off this red carpet?
Yeah, oh my goodness, I had to talk to her about that because there were like lumps in the carpet.
Mhm.
And so we were like, no, I cannot have Oprah or anybody on here.
Sure.
We can't have
Yeah.
anybody tripping.
Yeah.
So at that particular place, people were, they were excited because they were about to have their picture taken with Oprah.
Yeah.
So I didn't want people, trying to get to her and miss that little
Yeah.
hump in the carpet.
Yeah.
So we
Not a
got
way you want to be Oprah.
no, not at all.
Yeah.
So it worked itself out. So we were
That's
cool.
so
We were
awesome.
cool.
And I'm just, it just warms my heart to know that, like, so many people are going to get fed. Like, bottom line, sure, it's great to have star power and, like, all this stuff and media, and it's all exciting and all. But when the lights are off at work, you roll up your sleeves still. Like
So
you said today, they're just out there getting. And I just love so much that she has a red carpet there, so that you can hold your head up high and have the courage and dignity to go and ask for food.
right.
You
And they
know?
meet you. They greet you with a hug. They make you look up. You know what I'm saying? And when you look up, they're ready. Whoever's greeting is there
Oh
to
my
hug you
God.
and
Yeah.
just to bring you in. It's not. There's no. It's all about maintaining your dignity.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the things. Actually, Oprah spoke about that last night. She said that was one of the main things that she really admired about the pantry is that Cheryl's doing it with where everybody maintains their dignity and they're
Yeah.
celebrated. So
Yeah.
it was just such a powerful evening. I'm like, did I just like escort Oprah Winfrey to the red carpet?
Okay.
I'm gonna post that video later when she's
Yes, I want to see.
talking about her ponytail with a southern accent. Make y'all wait for that one. Yes, it
That
was
was great.
awesome.
Oh, and your suit you were looking fly. And the day before, you and I haven't really talked about fashion, but the day before, what was that like tunic thing with the white
Okay.
tunic with the black
Yes.
arrows? I want me one.
Okay. I'll tell you where I got it offline, but it was
Okay, okay, yeah. I'm still crying from earlier. Hold on.
because that particular shop is my new to go. I mean, all
Okay.
the stuff was so awesome, but it came up. I saw it online, like probably because I've talked a lot about African clothing or something,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
so an ad came up, and I started
Okay.
exploring the store, and I was like, oh yeah, I want to go there, and
Okay.
then that's where I found it. I've got a couple other pieces you'll be seeing from them too.
Okay. Yeah, that was fly. I know. I got a couple places I want to take you when you're here or if we're ever in New York together.
Okay.
There's some awesome places to go shop. Like I just bought this. It's in my room right now, but I bought this like linen kimono from Japan. It's a linen. It looks like this color. But anyway, I just didn't like how the sleeves were bunched up, so I had it cut and like flattened out and resewn, and it looks dope. And it was just like an original that all like the high end designers are trying to copy, but it's like one
Right,
of the
right.
originals, you know, and
You
that
like,
it really excites me. And there's this one place when I was in New York, I got myself into a little bit of trouble because I spent like a lot of money on shoes there. You and I
hmm
love to shop, and when we grew up, we were poor, so I make up in it now with like clothes and decorating my place because I was just always ashamed of my clothes and my home when I was a kid. And going back to the mini soup pantry thing, like I never shared this publicly, but I had a moment because I remember being a little boy and waiting in line with what I thought were really scary looking people,
hmm.
and we went to get our welfare check, and we went into this room, and it was this white room, and I was little so I could barely look over the counter, but it was a white room with uh um oh my god, I'm having flashbacks. White room with stainless steel window, and they were like, next, and they would put a grocery bag on top of it and just slide it to you and then push you away. And I
Wow.
realized now that I'm an adult that we weren't at no grocery store. Like my mom was going to
Mhm.
get food.
Oh,
Yes,
wow.
I know. So that's why I was just like, because I mean, we never went hungry because my
Right.
mom went, we had
Found a
WIC,
way.
like food stamps, and then
Right.
she made do and she stretched everything, and I remember just feeling so ashamed, and I think shame is like the lowest energy force, no matter what it is, whether you're ashamed about your sexuality, not having food, like that moment when Oprah was talking about how she was asking her neighbor for food and her mom yelled at her, you
Oh,
know.
I had never heard that story. I thought I heard all our stories, but I'd never heard that story before. You're right.
Right. And I was just like, oh, and just hearing these stories. And at the end of the day, it's like whether you're rich or you're famous or you're poor or you're not or whatever, it's like all of us have a story. And again, it's our responsibility to like have this gift. We were talking about the sunshine coming up this morning, the
Right.
sunrise, the photo that you took. And I love getting up really early in the morning and going on walks or seeing the sunrise. It's a quiet, peaceful time of day, but it's like a renewal. It's another day to be better and do better, you know. And we just and just feel blessed and say thank you. And if that's I know that um, so many of us like are going through different challenges, whether it's like financial or coming out about our sexuality and or wanting to not work at this corporate place and open your own like boutique or whatever it is.
Right.
But if you just focus on the what you're grateful for, I mean that brought it back to me full circle yesterday, because as when Oprah was talking about that, I had flashback, and I looked over and there was a banana on my counter. Bananas in a beautiful fruit bowl. I just had this beautiful dinner,
Right.
and just like the simple things, just to be grateful for, for those things. But speaking of Oprah, today's sort of a big day on two accounts because Maya Angelou. I don't know if you've ever encountered, or have had the opportunity to meet her.
I did. I
Yeah.
have a funny story about her and Johnny Walker Black, but that's another. I'll- no, I did get to meet her a couple of times actually in my life. Just such a wonderful, wonderful,
Oh,
wonderful.
oh.
I just, yeah.
She seems like like out of this worldly, like an angel. Like her
She
voice.
was just, yeah, she was just, yeah, such an
So
amazing.
commanding. But she would have been 90 today.
90.
Yeah,
Yeah. Wow.
I know.
Well, as Oprah says, she has an angel she knows by name. So,
Uh,
and Dr. Angelou's work will forever, forever
yeah,
inspire.
yeah.
She was
Well, I
also
mean,
friends with my pastor in Atlanta, so she came to my church a couple of times
okay,
too.
okay. So tell me one story then about her.
Let's see. The first time I met her, I was actually working as a concierge at JFK, and I had to escort her to her flight. And um, once I got her seated, she had all these questions for me. She's like, "Where are you from, darling?"
Oh,
And she says, I just really like your." She told me she liked my energy. I mean, all these things. And I'm afterwards, I'm thinking, did I just get all these compliments from like Maya Angelou?
Angela? Yeah, yeah.
But she was so. so sweet to me. But she was just very curious, especially when I
Yeah.
told her I was from San Francisco originally, because this
Uh-huh.
was I was a concierge in New York. But and we kind of talked a little bit about the Bay Area, because you have to make small talk with them, because especially if there's like a delay or while they're waiting
Yeah,
to
yeah, yeah,
board.
yeah.
But that was the first time that I met her,
You
and
know,
I got to meet her a couple times. Go ahead. I'm
fun
sorry.
fact. Did you know that she was the first? Um, I think it said she was the first African American trolley conductor.
Trolley caller. Yeah, I'm ringing
Right.
the bell. I'm
Yeah,
like
yeah.
ringing the little trolley bell. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy,
Yeah.
right? And
Exactly.
again,
Yeah.
it's like you never know like, what your circumstances are, like
Right.
who you are, like what challenges you're going through. Well, it's you just never know, like what tomorrow will bring. You know,
Right. Right.
and look, I mean, her what my favorite quote from her, and it's actually the under my signature in my I teach at a university here. Under my email account, it's her quote that says, "When you learn, teach. When you get, give."
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Ooh, you learn, teach. When you teach, yeah, that goes back to the whole minis thing last
Yeah, I
night,
was
and,
just
and,
gonna
and
say that.
everything.
It
Just
goes back to that. Like,
everything is full circle.
yeah,
I love
I
this
mean,
life.
my favorite, one of my favorite kind of like quotes that I saw through Forbes was from this article that's actually written about Go Inspire Ghost. And I didn't realize I said this, but it was amazing how they picked it out, because that I was just speaking with Kevin Lee, who's my web guy, tries to make everything look pretty and legit online. But we're just talking about, like, brands and stuff, and you and I've talked about this too. Like, what's your brand? And I hate that word brand because it seems so corporate-y, but for me, it's like one thing that I feel like is I believe we're all brought here for a reason on this earth, and my reason is to inspire people to be their truth and find that power. And the quote is essentially, we all have this unique superhero power or this gift, and it's our responsibility to discover it and use it to the fullest capacity in the service of others. And I couldn't help but think about that last night when Oprah was up there, when Cheryl was up there, um, and just seeing all those people. It's just like, there's no better reward, because money goes away. You make money, you can use it, and you
Right.
have a car. 6 months later, you're like, oh, whatever, what's the next car or the next
Right.
gadget, but really nothing is more self-sustaining than the joy that you get from, like, helping other people and
Helping
giving
other
back.
people, giving
Yeah.
and giving.
Yeah.
You were saying about making things pretty.
Hmm.
I finally that reminded me that I finally watched that episode of Queer Eye on Netflix
Oh,
that you were
what'd you
telling me
think?
about. I loved it. I
Which
yeah,
the AJ video I sent you, right?
the one where the kid, the guy was going to come out to his stepmother when his
The
dad
black
had
man.
passed away.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the black man. He was gonna come out to his stepmom because his dad had died, and he regretted not telling his dad.
and his best friend at
Yeah.
the opening of that is my neighbor, lives in my
What?
subdivision. I kid you not. His friend
What?
Al. I said, I was like,
What?
I had no idea he did the show, but I don't know the guy that was there. I just know Al, my neighbor,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and I just
What?
thought,
That's
is that such
crazy.
a small world? That's so crazy.
Degrees. Yeah, but nothing
Atlanta
is a
is
coincidence. Isn't that what you always say?
nothing is a coincidence now.
Yeah,
So I just
that's
thought,
crazy. Okay, so yeah, that was one of my favorite episodes because this guy, is coming out, and like I know that, like, one of the Karamo, one of the hosts.
hmm
He's a black man, and he was like, talking about how hard it is already. We got black face, you know what I mean? And I don't think people, and I can even say, like, white people, like, really understand that there's a privilege that comes with having lighter skin, or
right,
even if you're in the black community or Asian community, if you have lighter skin, it's like that you're treated differently than if you have darker skin,
right,
you know?
right,
And so, like, that heart to heart that he had with him, and then the part where he was just like, he found his power. And I love that show so much because they use design and making things look pretty, hooking up your apartment, hooking up your beard and your hair and your clothes and everything. But really, that is the, like, shiny thing, or the thing that really gets you through the door. And then
right,
inside, like, you can see people's souls. They touch people's souls.
right, right.
Yeah.
It was really well done, and I like that he was able to finally come to his truth and just to gradually begin to embrace that, and just
Yeah.
how free he felt after he told his grandma,
Yeah.
his stepmom, and he
He was a
took
different
that deep
person.
breath. Right, he was a
Yeah.
different person.
Right. And if you
He was a
find
different
I
person.
mean, like, that's our, aside from, well, not even aside from, I think truth and power all are intertwined because your
Right.
power is in your truth, you
Right.
know? And when you discover that power and that truth, I think that's a root of that power, of your power. That's when you start gaining more power. And like, if you want to go tie back to Oprah back in the day when she was doing, like so and so's mama slept with so and so baby daddy or whatever, you know, or like having the Ku Klux Klan on and realizing that, oh
Right.
shoot, I was used,
Right.
then she realized like, whoa, I'm not doing that anymore. And that's when she was like, I'm gonna, I want each producer to tell me, what your intention is for this section, this section of this part of the show, you know, and that's when she really became Oprah, like her
Right. Right.
truth, you
When
know,
she's
and that's
started
so, and that's
flourish.
so awesome.
Yeah.
It's so beautiful to see. It's when
Absolutely.
people step into that power and that light. And it's not just like gaining it for yourself, but then once you give it, it's amazing. Like the cup runneth over. Because you think that once you pour half the cup off, the liquid in the cup, the water, whatever it is, you don't have enough for yourself, but it just keeps getting
It
replenished.
just gets right. It just keeps giving. And yeah, you give, you will receive.
Yeah,
It's like it's the law of physics or whatever.
yeah.
You put out something, there's a opposite
Opposite,
reaction. And
equal
it's
and
just
opposite reaction. Yeah.
yeah.
So what? So did you cry watching that episode?
Uh, I'm not gonna
No.
say if I cried or not, but no, it
Oh,
was.
come on. I cried like a
I
baby.
I felt it for sure. I
Yeah.
felt it for sure. It was
I
really good.
cried.
It
I was
was
there
really
like,
powerful. So I
I
was
was
like,
like that.
oh.
I cried hard. Yeah.
But it's nice to see somebody have that breakthrough,
Yeah.
and then just like the floodgates of freedom open. It's like whoa,
Ooh, the
and then and
floodgates of
then
freedom.
and then after a while, you look back and you're thinking, what what was I all like uptight about? You
Yeah.
know, what was I
Yeah.
so afraid of? But
Yeah.
it was that I did like, and I'll definitely go back and watch some more
Yeah.
other episodes. I
I
think that
always
what they're
love
doing
that.
is a
I
good job.
love this quote that I heard. It's like, I didn't come out. I just let people in.
Oh, I do like that.
Yeah. Yeah. And then when you let people in to whatever it is, and you have that trust, it's just like you said, it's a floodgates to freedom. It's like a big weight that's been lifted off your
Just
shoulders.
lift it off, and there is nothing more freeing and liberating than freedom.
Amen.
No more
Amen.
spiritual bondage.
Yes, amen to that. And another thing that yesterday that touched me about Oprah's speech was when she was like, I'm a free woman. You're blessed that you get to get up and you're free to do what you want. And we forget.
Amen. And we forget, we take it for granted.
Yeah, we forget. I forget.
Just
I'm not gonna
just
lie.
like people who have 3 square meals a day, they forget
Yeah,
too. They start taking
yeah,
it for granted, and you
yeah,
can't ever take any of that
yeah,
stuff for granted.
yeah. But how do you keep like how do you, I mean post-it notes? Like you know, how do you keep it real in terms of like checking yourself?
I try to
'Cause-
be in the present moment and
yeah,
aware of what's happening, and
yeah,
in the gratitude,
yeah,
I just remain grateful.
yeah,
So um, that will kind of just keep you in that zone, in that
yeah,
space, in that
yeah,
that where you're reminded. Because so far, once you get distracted, you just get busy, and then you just start spiraling out of control in that
yeah.
negativity.
But I think the key to that is it's a spiritual practice to be
It is a
grateful,
practice.
and
It
we all
is.
fall out of it. We all do. Don't be mad at yourself if
If you miss a
you
day
know,
of meditation, right?
yeah,
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 you're not going to hell. Just
yeah.
pick it up the next day. Pick it up the next day. So yeah, but you're right. It is a practice, and it's like any other thing you work out. You have to do it consistently and
Yeah,
regularly, and there'll be days that you miss. So that happens.
yeah, and you forget that there's a spiritual muscle. That your
Right.
spirituality is a muscle. It's like a muscle that you gotta work.
Absolutely.
You know,
Absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah, still, life is good. Y'all need
yeah,
to get out there and start living it. Make sure you live it.
yeah. I mean, you sure see a lot of it because you're traveling so much. So you're going home now?
I am going home. I have a few days. I'll be in Atlanta where I can just. I've got some stuff I need to do. I still got some stuff for minis to do for social for the rest of the week,
Okay.
and then the Gentlemen's Foundation that I volunteer for there. I've got stuff for them to do. So yeah, I'll be busy. I'll be home and busy.
Wait, there's a
And
gentleman's foundation. What's that about?
it's a LGBT organization based out of Atlanta, and every
Okay.
year they have a huge fundraising gala like the one in that I just went to.
Okay.
But there's usually in the fall, and they provide scholarships and resources to a lot of at-risk LGBT youth and others. Not just not that's not the core demographic. And so I do different things with that organization as well, and
Oh,
I love it. So I'll be doing some stuff for them this week too. So there's
that's
lots
so
of good
awesome.
stuff out to give to,
Yeah.
give back to.
Yeah, and going back to like the whole minis thing, like if you can't give money, like can you donate your time or can you just
You
something,
absolutely can. Yeah,
you
you
know,
just
right?
find
And whether
something.
it's to
Your talent.
minis or it's to whatever it is that's in your heart that resonates with you.
Right.
Yeah,
There's
you
always
know,
opportunity out there. There's always room for service.
yeah,
There's always,
absolutely.
if you want to
And you know
give,
who
yeah.
my best teacher was this 5-year-old girl that I met. I don't know if I ever told you about Phoebe Russell in terms of like feeding the hungry. Quick story: this 5-year-old girl in Noe Valley, this little neighborhood. You know Noe Valley. You
No,
lived there
no,
for a
got it.
bit.
Yeah. Mhm.
She saw hungry homeless people, and she was like, two things. One, I feel really sad, and two, I feel like I could help. And her only ROI was that she would take a can and go to the grocery store and put it in the machine with her dad for funsies. Like they go to Whole Foods and drop in the can, they get 5 cents. And so she was like, "Mom, who helps hungry homeless people? I want to help." And so mom was like, "Food bank does." And she goes to her teacher and says, "Well, I want to raise arbitrary number $1,000 for the food bank." And teacher was like, "How?" And she was like, "By collecting aluminum cans." And so the teacher was like, "Honey, you graduate in 2 months from kindergarten. You can't. That's a lot of money. I don't know if you could do that." And she was like, "Well, okay, then I'll start by writing letters." And she wrote letters during her recess, and when she was waiting for her parents to pick her up from the kindergarten class,
Mhm.
she ends up raising in 2 months almost $4,000.
Wow.
So that's 18,000 meals. And I see this little kicker. A kicker in the news world, since I used to work in the news world, is like that last 10 or 20-second VO that the anchor reads. It's a feel good story to end the show.
Right.
And I saw that kicker and I was like, I want to help. And I was like, look, I'm not rich and I'm not famous, but I have this little YouTube channel and I can do a story for Go Inspire Go on. But anyway, went there. I crashed her balloon cupcake party where she raised almost $4,000. And at the end of all the videos and blogs on the Go Inspire Go page, there's 3 action items. One was if you if you see this and you can help, like donate your time or donate it for money, or if you can't donate money, donate your time and tell them that Phoebe sent you. Um,
Oh,
that video sort of went viral, right? And we helped that little girl raise $20,202.
wow. I mean, it's
So,
if
so
you
from
yeah, if you believe.
18,000 meals to 80,000 meals from that little old video. Then somebody through social media, because you know the power of social media, um, somebody contacted me and said, "Hey Tuan, this is an awesome video. I saw this chicken company that's having this Feed the Hungry contest. They're looking for heroes to reward." So I submit my video. I was so janky. I didn't read it all, and I was like, it had to only be 3 minutes long. I submitted it. It was like over 5. And they contacted me and they were like, "We need to talk to you because we want to give this girl a special grand jury prize of 15 tons of chicken, 35,000 pounds to the food bank." So this big
Wow.
old freight truck, we did a follow up on the story, like follows her to the food bank, drops off all this 15 tons of chicken, 35,000 pounds, and now over 120,000, 130,000 people fed. And then if you fast forward it to another year later, when she was in first grade, kindergartners saw this little plaque in the kindergarten class. The teacher showed her the video, and the kids replicated the project. 4 kids replicated the project, and almost raised 4 grand. So now over 200,000 people fed.
See, that's amazing. You said that started with a 5-year-old.
5-year-old, right?
So
five
yeah.
year old, yeah, right. And then people watching, so many people are like, "What's one? I can't tell you how many times I hear this. Oh, when I make more money, I'll donate, or or when I have more time, I'll do this." Well, if even if it's once a month, you can go volunteer and pack food, then do that. Or if you
Right.
can write a little check, $5, $10. It doesn't have to be like the $250,000 or $10,000 that people are donating yesterday to Minnie's food pantry.
Right. Right.
It's just like, what can you give and how can you start that?
Right. Right. And you just take a step and do
Yeah,
something,
yeah,
and then be consistent about the giving.
yes,
Because
yeah,
that can be a challenge too. Sometimes you do it once and then you're like, okay, I'm good. I've
yeah,
got good karma in heaven points.
yeah.
And then, but no, it's like it needs to be consistent.
Yeah. Yeah, I can geek out and talk about heroes forever because I believe so many people, that have been doing it, and also people like you who, like last night, you went, you did your social media, you went, you contributed, and you are still contributing.
Oh yeah.
That that's
And
amazing.
it's I
So
get to do something I enjoy, and it's a
yeah,
service that they need, and
yeah,
they're very very appreciative of
yeah,
it.
yeah,
So yeah, and that's the thing. It's like I just go to give, just like they're going to give. I just if she's doing this major thing, I just want to do my little part. How can I help? And it just the reward. I've already got the reward.
yeah,
Just in being able to be available to provide a contribution
yeah,
that's valued and that's helping. So
yeah. I think a
it's
lot of
just that
people
simple.
don't realize that too. It's like there's a value in not only the money you can give, but the time.
Right,
And being
right,
able to like be fed enough to have the energy to go out there and to fly out there, and then being able to financially fly out there and to get a hotel, and
right.
it's just like we're so blessed beyond measure, especially here in America.
In America, definitely. We don't. Yeah, we take a lot of that for granted.
Yeah, we shall do.
So.
Yeah. Well, you look tired. You need to go to
I
sleep.
am.
When's your
I
plane
got to get on
tonight?
flight. I figured out about 15 minutes. I need to head down there.
Okay.
So.
So really quickly, going back
hmm
to the show that you got me turned on to, and aside from Queer Eye, because I got you hooked on that now, the Roseanne show. Did you watch the second episode?
Um, I watched. Yeah, the second one was the wait. Yeah, I watched the first two.
Okay, yeah, me
Right.
too.
Yeah.
First
Okay.
two.
Right.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
What
I
happened?
love that show.
Was the second one with the son, the grandkids, and the clothes?
Yeah, yeah,
Or
yeah, yeah,
yeah. Okay. Yeah. That one.
yeah.
Yeah. That was
The
good.
grandson who wanted to dress like girls,
Yeah. And
like a girl.
there's still so much chatter online about people that I just saw some headline today that she took a swipe at the minority shows or something that are on the air. I didn't see the episode, so I can't. I'm not. The clickbait is one thing. I need to
Yeah,
watch the episode to see before
yeah,
I pass any type of judgment. I'm like, I don't know. But the fact that people are talking, whether they love it, hate it, or
yeah,
whatever,
yeah.
it's good
The
for them. It's
conversation is
good for
starting, and that's
ABC.
good. And it's
Right.
also introducing you to the reality of both sides, and that's what I love so
Right.
much about it. You know,
Right. And I think
um,
that's what it was designed to do.
yeah. You know what? One day, one of my people I would love, love, love to interview
Uh
is and
huh.
to talk to for my podcast is Adele,
Yeah.
because she spits so much spirituality, but it's totally covered up in her cockney and her joking and all that. But she was asked once, um, that she was asked, what do you think? All these people love you, blah blah blah. And she was just like, people can say what they want. I don't know those people that love me. All these social media people, people on social media and all that. I really don't pay much attention. I don't pay them no mind, because if I pay them any mind, then I'll have to pay attention to the people that are saying bad things about me. And you
Right.
don't know me.
Right.
It's
Right.
all about you.
Right.
Even those tabloids that are written, it's just like it's not about you. Really, it's not about the
Right.
person you're talking about.
Now,
You know?
and what and the intention is set forth. All that is just low energy
Yeah,
negativity. Just
yeah, yeah,
if you're not hurting in emotional pain or spiritually vapid,
yeah,
then you don't need those things. You just don't
yeah.
need them.
I tell a lot of kids, and my niece and nephew that, when people talk about you or you hear rumors, like I remember being a kid and I hear people talk about me, and it's crushing when you're young and you don't have, I call it a spiritual firewall. Like if you don't have that spiritual firewall up yet, and I think this happens to a lot of people that become famous young when they don't really know themselves. But if you don't have that up, then, you crumble. But when people say stuff about you, I told my niece and nephew, I was like, you know what? Don't pay them no mind. Like, do not pay attention to them, because you don't really care about them. So why should you care about what they say about you? And it's not true. It's their own issue. Most
Yes.
bullies, all bullies, I'm not even saying most, all bullies have their own issues, their own
Yeah, they
bully
do.
that they're dealing with inside of themselves.
But unfortunately, those that are victims of bullying don't always get that
Yeah,
because
yeah,
that bully's preying on some insecurity they may have typically about themselves. But it's up to people like you, the adults in our lives, to
yeah,
constantly reinforce that positivity and let them know what's really going on.
yeah. What age were you when you were just like, to me, I'm 40 and I don't give two shits about what people say about me, really. Like I do my own thing. Like I.
Yeah, no, I mean, I used to be obsessed with like the disease, the please, but
Yeah,
probably in my 30s, I probably was
yeah,
like, what am
yeah,
I doing? These
yeah,
people aren't paying my bills.
yeah, yeah,
So when someone says, I like this, thank you, I receive that in love, or I don't like that, okay, I receive that in love.
yeah.
Next.
Yeah. You're receiving and love both times. Yeah, that's true though, right? They don't pay your bills.
You're right, they don't pay my bills, so.
Who cares? I know it's refreshing. When I'm around a lot of younger people, um, you can kind of even smell like the insecurity. You can just see
Hmm.
right through it, and you're just like, I just like I wish them well and I send them love, and I just like I feel like as you grow older, each decade is like fine wine and cheese. It just gets better,
It does
over
get better.
over time, and the confidence that you have and the swag, that you have.
And you have zero to give.
Yeah, basically. I remember somebody used to make fun about like, oh, you dress like you like to wear like, you that looks like a girl's whatever shirt, or like, whether it's like the bell bottoms or whatever the heck, or anyway, or even like the tunic that you had was dope,
Yeah.
but it's cultural, and when people aren't
When they're ignorant.
yeah, ignorant, not cultured, they could be like, ew, why are you wearing that? That looks like a dress.
Right, right, right.
My response is, excuse me, but just because I don't choose to be basic, it had nothing to do with me,
Don't have anything to do with me.
yeah, yeah,
So, yeah.
basically. So there's
Yeah.
just this awesomeness that happens as you grow, older in age, growing older, and I think there's that wisdom that comes, that Maya Angelou-ness,
Right. I love that,
yeah,
my Angelus.
right, that comes, and that just reminds me of that movie. I think we talked about it before. We talked about it before, but gosh, I definitely want to go and rewatch A Wrinkle in Time again because it was so
Yes,
good.
I do too.
Yeah,
Yes.
because there was like a little homage to Maya Angelou in there a couple times.
Yeah, I can't wait to see that again, actually. Actually, I think I'll do that when I get to Atlanta. There's a couple of other movies I want. Today's Thursday. Well, it'll be tomorrow's Thursday. Okay. Yeah, well, I'm not gonna go tonight, but
Yeah.
I think I may go see by the
If
time I
you
get
don't
tomorrow.
if you don't go by the time I get to Atlanta, I'm totally down to watch again with you
Okay.
in May. You know, we'll
Awesome
talk offline about
sauce.
that, huh?
Sounds good. Oh, I think they're closing up this club. Oh, this club is getting ready to close. You see the
Okay.
lights going down in the
Yeah,
background?
yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah. They're putting
Slow
us
down.
out.
Yeah. Anyway, I saw your last week when you shared the third episode. You were like, or the third chat. You were like my reassurance, and I just wanted to like send that back to you. It's just so refreshing. Like that's Wednesday, getting over the hump day, and like knowing that we're gonna chat. And people saying that, people like, oh, you guys have great energy, or oh my gosh, that like totally made my day. Even if it makes one person's day, if one person's watching, that's
That's
cool. That's
all
cool,
that matters.
right?
You make my day, I make yours.
I
Somebody else
know.
makes somebody else's. So
Okay,
it's just,
amen to that. Okay, I'm gonna let you go before that
yeah, before they come shoving me,
close.
come dragging me out of here like this, right?
But I know your social media will be on. You'll be like, hi.
Right, see.
All right, love you, brother. I'll talk to you
Love
soon.
you back.
All
All
right,
right, have a good one. Okay.